Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving into an explainer that is honestly going to completely flip how you think about your bank account. We're unpacking some of the most incredible insights from Morgan Housel's absolute modern classic, The Psychology of Money. Look, if you're feeling totally burnt out by endless hustle culture, or you feel like you're just endlessly running on this financial treadmill, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to completely step away from the anxiety-inducing math of investing and instead look right at the hidden psychological forces that actually govern our relationship with money.
Okay, let's dive into this. You see, society's baseline assumption of wealth is just fundamentally flawed. When most folks say, man, I want to be a millionaire, they're not actually visualizing a quiet life of compounding interest. What they're really saying is, I want to spend $1 million on flashy stuff. But here's the trap. Spending millions is literally the exact opposite of having millions. It's this massive societal deception that keeps us perpetually chained to our paychecks.
To untangle all of this, here's our quick roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to cover 1. Rich versus truly wealthy. 2. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. 3. Time is the true currency. 4. Luck and peace of mind. And finally, number 5, ego, needs, and savings. All right, starting off with section 1, rich versus truly wealthy, the deception of the status quo. And this brilliantly illustrates the deception. Right? When we see someone driving a massive, expensive car or posting these crazy luxury vacations online, our brains automatically label them as rich. But what we don't see are the massive loans or the completely zeroed out bank accounts funding that entire lifestyle. That is being rich. It's loud, it's super performative, and man, it is expensive. On the flip side, true wealth is kind of invisible. It's the money that hasn't been spent yet. It's that worn-out watch on the wrist of someone whose unseen investments are just quietly working behind the scenes, paying for their ultimate freedom. Because at the end of the day, true wealth doesn't need an audience. Moving right along to section 2, getting wealthy versus staying wealthy, the reality check. You know, earning a quick buck or landing a sudden windfall, that takes risk, optimism, and putting yourself out there. But keeping that money, whole different ballgame. That requires humility, a healthy dose of paranoia, and just a profound acceptance that your past success could literally vanish tomorrow. Studies constantly show that people who suddenly come into large sums of money almost always bounce right back to their previous financial state, because making it, that's really just step 1. To put this deeply human flaw into perspective, just think about the number 400. $400. That is the average amount an American spends every single year on lottery tickets. Crazy, right? People who might actually struggle to cover a basic emergency are just throwing hundreds of dollars away, hoping for this magical windfall to solve all their problems. We're so wired to chase the quick fix of getting rich instead of building the sustainable, unglamorous habits of actually staying wealthy. Now, what's really interesting here is the harsh math of ruin that kicks in when we try to play it completely safe. Let's say you take your cash and put it into what you think is a perfectly secure fixed deposit, right? Earning a guaranteed 4% a year. You feel pretty smart. You turn $100 into 104. But you're ignoring the silent thief in the room, inflation. If the cost of goods goes up by 5%, that item that cost 100 last year now costs 105. Your safe 104 can't even buy it anymore. You have safely and securely destroyed 1% of your actual purchasing power. Staying wealthy actually means finding investments that outpace inflation over time. Which brings us to section 3. Time is the true currency, the ultimate goal. This concept right here just hits incredibly hard. The greatest intrinsic value of money, its absolute best use, is giving you control over your own time. If you're earning money just to impress people who frankly don't care about you, you're running on a treadmill that literally never stops. But when you use money to buy back your time, the whole game changes. Because look, even if you have your absolute dream job, if you don't have the freedom to control when and how you do it, it can quickly start to feel like a prison. Real wealth is waking up every single morning and saying, I can do whatever I want today. So you're probably wondering, how much is enough to actually buy that freedom? Well, I highly recommend trying this really simple exercise. Grab a piece of paper and just list out everything you genuinely want in life. The house, the car, the specific lifestyle. Then figure out what it actually costs right now. For most folks, when they finally strip away the things they only want for status, they realize the final number is significantly smaller than the endless millions they thought they needed. Clearly defining what enough looks like is absolutely the most liberating thing you can do for your financial mental health. The source material for this explainer actually shared this beautiful, super personal story about the 2020 pandemic lockdown. The creator realized they only had about 5 months of financial runway left, but instead of totally panicking, they looked at their enough number. They realized their absolute worst-case scenario was selling their expensive house, clearing out their loans, moving to a quiet little mountain village, homeschooling the kids, and just farming. And the crazy realization, they were completely okay with that. When you strip away the massive pressure of keeping up an expensive lifestyle, money totally loses its grip on you. You become genuinely free. Let's transition to Section 4, Luck and Peace of Mind, the unseen forces.
So the crucial point is that while we obviously can't control luck, we can mathematically engineer situations where luck is practically forced to find us. Think about sending cold emails, reaching out to mentors, asking for internships or new opportunities. If you send just one email, yeah, you might get ignored. But if you systematically send out 100 emails, maybe 95 get ignored, but 5 people reply. Now, you can't predict which 5, and those 5 are essentially your luck. But those 5 replies, they can completely change the entire trajectory of your life. You're literally manufacturing luck by dramatically increasing your surface area for opportunities. But as you seek out all these opportunities, there is a hard boundary you absolutely must not cross. Never, ever make a financial decision that costs you a good night's sleep. We see this all the time nowadays, right? People throwing their entire life savings into these highly volatile meme coins or wild crypto gambles, just agonizing as their portfolio swings 30% up and down every single night. What is the point of a high return if it completely destroys your peace of mind? No amount of money is worth trading your mental health for, period. And this is an especially vital message for anyone watching this who is maybe in their 20s or just feeling the intense, crushing pressure of modern hustle culture. Listen closely. No one expects you to have it all figured out right now. Seriously, stop blowing money on expensive dinners or flashy clothes just to earn fake respect from peers who are honestly as broke as you are. Living quietly and well below your means is an absolute superpower. Don't sacrifice your actual happiness today chasing some illusion of what you think happiness is going to look like tomorrow. Let's move to our final section and see how all this builds together. Section 5, Ego, Needs, and Savings, the ultimate formula. From the time we're kids, we are taught this super basic formula. You take your income, you subtract your expenses, and whatever is left over is your savings. But actually, this mindset is fundamentally broken. It fails because it lumps the basic, unavoidable cost of human survival into the exact same category as deeply emotional, psychological spending. It basically treats your electricity bill exactly the same as buying a designer sweater. So here is the true formula for wealth. Your savings are your income minus your absolute biological and functional needs plus your ego. Needs are things like rent, groceries, basic transportation. Everything else, the flashy car upgrade, the fancy shoes, that luxury vacation you're taking just for social media, all of that is your ego. The gap between your income and your ego is your true savings rate. Every single time you swallow your pride and reduce your ego, you directly, mathematically increase your wealth. The absolute quickest path to financial freedom isn't necessarily doubling your salary, it's having your ego. Which leaves us with this final lingering thought to carry with you today. I want you to take a hard look at your last 5 non-essential purchases. Look really closely at the lifestyle you're trying to maintain right now. Are you utilizing your money to quietly buy back your time and build your ultimate freedom? Or are you just exhausting yourself on a treadmill just to feed your ego? The choice and your future wealth is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you all next time.